Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego of the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker, you don't want to say anything, you just want to watch the stream and chill, you can do that too. Free country. And you can hang out and that will be nice. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It's Monday. It's not Manga Monday because I have too much anime to talk about because due to a bunch of raids we had on Saturday, I ended up skipping the anime talk because we got deep into model kit theory. So I do want to talk about those two shows, even though I don't fully remember one of the episodes, but it'll come back to me. And I took extensive notes because I take pretty damn good notes and then peek behind the curtain. I take very good notes while I'm watching an anime, and an episode that's normally like 20-something minutes will take me 30 to 40 minutes to watch because I am pausing constantly. I'm referencing. I'm going, wait, I don't remember that character's name, and looking it up so I have it in my notes. And then I condense those notes, and I cut out the stuff, and I streamline some things. I don't move around plot points, but I do try to make it so that it's a little more streamlined for you, the viewer. But yeah, it's so there'll be an anime talk before that. We're going to get into a lot of wrestling talk because AEW Revolution happened and it was great. Before that, there is a piece of video game news, and people who are much more in the journalism side or the coverage side of video games, I'm sure will have opinions. I'm sure you'll hear that on podcasts all this week. But Lord Crashton says, "Hey Pat, it hit 70 degrees here today." It also hit 70 degrees here. I have my window open because it's warm in this room. And it's March, and I'm a little worried about it getting this warm in March. It'll get a little cooler by the end of the night, but right now it's still a little warm. So we are working on the Hyaku-Shiki. The Hyaku-Shiki. You can see some of it there. It's a very gold kit. That's where it says how quaint. Yes. It is the second goldest model kit. The Phoenix is the most. And there's a master grade of it at the 1/100 scale. And that thing's all gold. And that's the most gold. This one is a lot of gold. And we will look at one detail of this kit as well. Let's go to the overhead here in a second. Right now we'll hit the old overhead camera. And then I'm going to zoom in here as much as I can. Well, you zoom so much it. Okay. So let's see if I can show this off here. Whoa, there we go. So, if you saw Saturday's stream, you may have noticed that I changed the eyes on this kit. And I'm going to see if I can hit the light so you can see. There it goes. I now have a cool red sticker for the eyes. So I disassembled the head to put on this very cool sticker because originally I just had a silver sticker. And I was looking at it, and obviously I can see this in more detail than you because I'm not this zoomed while we build. But I decided that I wanted a little bit more color in the eyes because the silver sticker was kind of getting lost in all the gold. So I wanted to do something, and I did. And I think it looks snazzy. So now we're going to widen out here a bit more. We're going to overshoot it, and then zoom back in where we want it. Here. That's good. There we go. Now, I'll zoom in. There. We'll do it like that. Great. So there's the kit. This is what we're working on tonight. And so we will switch over to the shoulders, which involve two different kinds of stickers because one sticker has to bend. These look like they would be water slides. I have been told these are not water slides. We'll find out if they are or not. But I have been told that these are not. So those are going to go on. Once we get some assembly here, we're doing all of one, and then we're going to do all of the other. And this requires a bunch of different stickers to go on the shoulder here. I should also mention, before we dive into a piece of video game news, and then we get into wrestling, I am currently at 25 out of 50 subscribers. The goal is always 50. I shut up at 50. And yeah, we're currently at 25. And I don't mind telling you, friends, I'm not going to get too into this. This is the lowest number of subscribers I've had in quite some time. I'm gonna say that it's probably because we didn't get a lot of traction on my subathon in January. There were some gifted subs, but there weren't a lot of. It feels like there were more gifted subs than there were people subscribing themselves and then sticking around, which is a shame. Look, obviously the gifted subs is great. It got us so close to our goal, but it would have been nice if it could have translated into more people checking out the streams, which it didn't, and that's fine. Our view numbers are still fairly consistent for days. They fluctuate between the day of the week, but they're still fairly consistent. And I'm certainly not like getting mad about it or upset about it. My views, but we are currently at the lowest number of subscribers that I've had in quite some time, which is, not my favorite. Say that again, not bummed out too much about it, but I am aware of it and I am not thrilled about it, and I'm not going to pretend that I am thrilled about it. Why would I pretend that? All right, so we're going to talk about Yuzu, and we're going to talk about the people behind it, Tropic Haze. Now, I am not here to defend a corporation like Nintendo. I am merely going to present my thoughts on what's happening here. Caveats, things that you would know because you know me. I believe in emulation. You may have seen me use it. Actually, in fact, I would say, considering who's hanging out in chat, you've seen me use emulation on this very stream. Games that I own that are on consoles that I do not have a way to broadcast those consoles on stream. I don't have a way to capture those consoles. I emulate the games. And also, I emulate them specifically because I use a way of hacking the ROM of those games. I use, a piece of software to randomize those, to play them differently. As John says, emulating a Pokemon game on the internet? I know, right? That's what I do. That is a thing that I do. I'm in favor of emulation. Also, I'm going to tell you this right now. While I do my best to consume media that I have legally acquired, legally purchased, am doing the proper way, I back up media that I don't have the license to back up. Because one could make a very strong case for, and in fact, totally reasonable case for, that I don't own anything that I stream. And by using external software to make a digital copy of that streaming service, even though I continue to use that streaming service, that's not part of the agreement, and I shouldn't be doing that. And I still do it because it's more convenient, and I am paying for. Because it's more convenient, but also because I'm paying for it. So I'm just gonna fucking keep doing it. Kind of where I'm at on that. Now, on the topic of piracy, I am in favor of access to things that are not accessible anymore. Licensing agreements ending, people making the decision that they are, the license deal expires. People have made it very difficult because of either on purpose or through just the course of time, not making things available readily, easily available. I'm in favor of that. Am I in, or like, let's say that you live in a country where a piece of media is not available. It is my opinion. Not everyone shares this opinion, I understand. Get that thing. And when it's available in your region, pick it up. Hopefully it will be. Lost media being backed up for archival sake, I am 100% totally in favor of. I will continue to bang the drum for that. To having backups of things. All of these things that to some people is not, across the line, other people is more than reasonable. All that is to say, if you are earning a living doing things that make a business unhappy, it's not going to go great for you. So, obviously, elements of Nintendo, draconian in nature. The fact that sometimes there are just not ways to get a thing from Nintendo. Seemingly on purpose, so they can sell it to you again. The idea that you're like, let's say this. Here's a what if. What if your Switch breaks? I mean, you own Switch cartridges. Or you bought stuff on your Switch. Yeah, play that shit on your computer. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about that. Nintendo cares about that. They care about that quite a bit. But the point I'm making here is, beyond, outside of my own belief about how a civil case like this should have gone, how it shouldn't necessarily get to the civil, you do it a court case if you're saying that, how we live in an age where no company really is going to have the money, time, energy to fight Nintendo. What if you bought Switch games that disappeared because they chose a cheaper version of memory and the games will decay in a decade? Well, theoretically, John, within a decade, you would be able to re-download those games. But also, if you bought those games, back them up, and I don't have a problem with you backing them up. Piracy of games that are readily and easily available in your region and for you, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that stuff. There is a case to be made for piracy, simply and honestly, and I respect it. But yeah, you can buy it. You should buy it. The long-winded point I'm making here is, the thing they probably won't care about a Switch emulator 10 years from now, like they aren't going after the Wii U emulator these days. Yes. Yeah, sure. And the Wii emulator. They're going to go after certain cases, flagrant cases. To make my actual point here, because I've been kind of like giving caveats and trying to make my point as clear as I can, but I'll just say it. I'll say the damn thing. You can't make it a business and expect it to go good for you. I think that emulation is not a crime. I think that having backups and support and archival purposes is not, there is nothing wrong with that. But if you got a Patreon, if you got a Ko-Fi page, if you've got early releases and feedback and anything like that, you are asking to get shut down. And should also say this is Tropic Haze reportedly has negotiated a settlement with Nintendo. It has to be approved by a judge. It will. The current is the thing that people have been talking about on the internet is, this statement that they made on their website and then posted, and like, Nintendo has a gun to their heads. And it's like, yeah. And that gun is $2.4 million. a website shutting down, a statement that is clearly written by someone that Nintendo paid a good amount of money to write that up probably months ago. All of that hastily negotiated with whatever legal team Tropic Hayes has. All of that is to say, it's the $2.4 million, y'all. It's the $2.4 million. And it's a certain thing of like things that were done for the love of the game becoming a attempt to be a career. I understand it because, like, look, somebody makes an emulator, right? And then somebody else takes that emulator, puts it in a package for crack software and sells it. And then another country, people in another country, figure out how to manufacture that for even cheaper and sell it and flood it on low-level things. And the person who made the whole thing did it because they wanted a challenge, or they were doing it in college, or they were paid by a friend or a stranger to work on a thing or to pick up the work other people were doing. I understand the desire to look at that and go, well, times are tough, and it would be great if people could support us for doing that work. And I get that. It's the same thing with people that do fan subs or scanlations that have a website and have a coffee or a PayPal address. And they're like, folks, if you don't read on our website and you don't, you use it, you got to disable your ad blocker and you got to watch it on or read it on our website, and you got to have these fucking radio stations play that you have to quickly go and hit stop on every time you advance the page, and don't use an aggregator. You got to read it on our website. And, folks, I'm sitting on 10 chapters of this manga that I will release all at once if 10 people support me on Ko-Fi. And, times are tough, and we need volunteers to help us out with this. We are taking money, and yes, we're using machine learning, and this is a terrible translation, but we really do need your support. All of that comes out, and my initial thought is, y'all really trying to earn a living breaking the law or skirting the law. And it's like, okay, I mean, that is an option. And it's old head of me to say, well, back in my day, if you fan subbed an anime, you did it to get other fan subs from other groups. And you might find yourself a whale who will pay for the series, getting you the copies of it, finding you the translations of it. And that eventually became, well, what if I have a torrent? And what if I embed my videos on a website and serve ads? I could do that. And what if I get a bunch of that? And what if I steal other fan subs that other groups are doing? And then what if I make enough money that I go legitimate and I start actually licensing anime and turn it into a business? And I think a lot of people are just trying to be Crunchyroll. And I think they need to reevaluate that. Now, should that come at the livelihood of people like the Bowser guy, the guy whose name is Bowser, from this group? No, I don't think so. I don't think that $2.4 million and saying that the people that are making this are advocating for piracy or encouraging piracy. No, I don't think that holds water. I don't think that this is, as an example, is fair or righteous or necessary. I'm not going to go that far to say those things. That's just not going to happen from your friend Pat. But I am saying, if you're doing shady shit, you got to be shady about it. I think people were looking at like old emulator folks, people working on old emulators or Mister or whatever, and just convincing themselves that everything now is a cool business. And they'll also be fine. And maybe that's a costly lesson to say, nah, y'all, you gotta be willing and able if you want to go down this road, this can't be your get rich quick scheme. The work needs to get done. Nintendo will never go after Nesticle. No. They'll go after the emulator of the Switch 2 that comes out before the Switch 2 comes out. But yeah, they're not going after the Nesticle. They're not going after old shit. And again, abandonware, abandoned software, support of those things, extra features. Hell, I'll say it right now. The Dolphin emulator fucking whips ass. It's cool as hell to play those games better than you could on a Wii. That's cool shit. But like, I don't think people should kid themselves. Pardon me. I don't think people should kid themselves that they're running a legit business that way. They were tired of people streaming full versions of their games 2 weeks before they came out. Yes, Nintendo's going to Nintendo. Nintendo. Nintendo going to be mad about that shit. They are also going after ROM sites. They're going after past people that are pirating and doing all that. They are trying to send cease and desist. And maybe Yuzu is caught in the fire, the crossfire, and maybe the fine folks at Tropic Haze should have been a little less out there doing their thing. But, you know, it's rough. And yeah, and it does come down to that other emulator might not be fine. But if they're like, oh, this was just a passion project. This was to see if we could. We're not trying to steal money from Nintendo. Like, that is at least an excuse. And if you're like, yeah, we had a successful Patreon, like that is an evidence. And of course, again, should say this did not go to trial. The civil trial was not in front of a judge. The civil trial was not in front of a jury. This is them making an agreement, coming to a settlement of the lawsuit. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Yeah. Yes. And that's the same. And again, I know I'm going on a tangent talking about fan sub stuff and scanlation, but like, if you have a website and then you have a bunch of random Google emails where you store your images and you link it to a website, somebody had to pay for that website. The people at Webtoon have been consistently cracked down on folks that take untranslated webtoons and translate them as fast as possible and put them on their ad-bloated websites to make money off of that. And and I understand that the argument for fan sub stuff and scanlation was always, well, this isn't available readily, so we're making it available for people. And that was always the defense. But that defense doesn't really hold up when it is readily available and you are just in an arms race with other sites to make money and get that out there. And not everything is translated, sure. But eventually a lot of it is. And it's the part where you're clearly making money doing it. Then it becomes like... Because you know what? A friend was talking about how a certain website out there that has a lot of manga on it has a bunch of stuff that isn't even in print in its native language anymore, and how it is an archive of a bunch of stuff. Or like Tokyo Pop will go out of business and consistently goes out of business and has issues, but like won't reprint. They probably won't reprint some stuff. So if archive.org has a bunch of Tokyo Pop scans of their graphic novels, that's interesting and good that exists and is available. And it's a whole thing. But that is different from manga, Weekly Shonen Jump. In Weekly Shonen Jump or Weekly Manga Up, you can read some manga, but there's also some people out there that are getting it before the update and putting it up on websites because they'd rather you go to their website and read their translation rather than the official one. And for some instances, they're saying, well, that's because Manga Up doesn't do a great job of their translations. And they later update them. And it's like, sure, that's your reason. That's not necessarily a reason. I'm putting on these stickers here, these bendy stickers first, and then we will apply the tiny stickers in all these little crevices here. But we're doing this sticker first here, nice and easy. These are not water slides, as I said, but they do have a nice clear backing. They do look pretty great. All right, I talked way more and way deeper than I thought I would on that. And again, you're going to hear from people. Jeff Gersman will have commentary on that. Giant Bomb will have commentary on that. Kind of funny, I'm sure, talked about it today, and we'll talk about it all week. IGN will have stuff to say. There'll be think pieces out there. Nextlander will have stuff to say this week. So I kind of was just like, I should at least comment on it. But now I want to talk about Revolution, AEW Revolution. We're going to switch gears and we're going to talk a little wrestling. All right, so that's 6 and 5 on the other side. So it's 4, 6 is here. These are very tiny stickers. I mean, people saw it coming. So this was a very long pay-per-view. It was very good. I don't know if you saw it. If you didn't see the pay-per-view, it is worth picking up. Pre-show was good. So I'll say this about this whole event. We're going to jump to the end because I have a lot of thoughts on the end and I want to get them out. But my overall thought on the pay-per-view was really solid, really fun. And my big takeaway is if the worst match on the card is an 8-person nonsense thing, then you've got yourself a great show. If like the worst match on the card is 4 big dudes doing a bunch of power moves to each other, and then later in the match 4 smaller dudes recreating what the big dudes did, that's some good shit. All right, these stickers are 2 of these stickers just stuck together, and I don't know how I'm going to separate them. So that's fun. Very tiny stickers here. I don't even know if I'm going to apply them because I don't know how I would. Let's just try to get the front sticker. I mean, we do have the red underneath, so if I don't get these stickers right, I'm not going to worry too much about it. All right, I did get that sticker up, and that sticker is correct. I might just try to get the front stickers on here, and then worry about the other ones later. It was a lot better than I was expecting. I need to rewatch Takeshita versus Ospreay as I was distracted. That match was fucking killer. That match was great. The match that it wasn't for a belt and doesn't really mean anything. I mean, like long term, that was, Will Ospreay's first match in AEW officially as an AEW performer. He's been on the show before. Shows before. Yeah, that match was real good. It was just a really solid show and totally cool. But we're going to go to the main event. Now, I will say this. I think the running order was bad. In my opinion, the world title goes on last. And if your world title does not go on last, if there is something that is bigger than your world title, and in this case, Sting's retirement, yeah, legendary performer, been in this company. It's not like he just showed up. He wasn't just having his retirement in that company. He's been a part of the company. You want to make it special. You want to celebrate Sting. You want him to go on last. Sure. For his last match, no problem. Then you have the world title first. You don't have it second to last. It's the world title. If you don't do it in the main event, you do it first. That's my opinion on it. I think it would have been hot and it would have been great and it would have been cool as hell. I think you do it first if you're not going to do it last. That's just my opinion on that. That's just how I'm feeling about it. But the main event was Sting and Darby Allin taking on the EVPs, the Young Bucks, Matthew Jackson and Nicholas Jackson. And it was a Texas Tornado tag match, which means you have to pin your opponent or submit your opponent in the ring. But everyone's fighting at the same time, basically. There's no tags. It's a tag. It's 2-on-2, not a tag team match or traditional tag team match, which allows for nonsense. And there was plenty of nonsense there. There was breakaway glass, lots of breakaway glass, people fighting all over the place, people jumping off high things, falling through high things, falling on top of each other, lacerating themselves and other people. An old man who wasn't Sting got kicked in the head by two people. And then another old man got kicked in the stomach after he hit some people with a belt. A bunch of shit happened. And in the end, the icon, a living legend, Sting, tapped out one of the Jacksons and won the match. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it because it tells me that the thing that I already knew, which is Steve Borden, a very religious man. That's his right. That's his choice. I'm not going to be coming down on Steve for being a deeply religious man. Sting is too good of a guy because Sting wasn't willing to... Sting listened to people that I don't think he should have listened to. Now, there were compromises. Reportedly, this is out of his own mouth. This is from what people say. He did not want a singles match in his last match. He wanted to tag. He thought he'd be very protected. He wanted to be there with Darby. He didn't want to wrestle Darby. He wanted it to be a tag match. Supposedly, he wanted it to be with the Bucks. And supposedly, he wanted to lose. He also didn't want to win the tag belts going into the match. And he didn't want to retain those tag belts. And I think that Steve Borden should have been more selfish. I think he deserved to be more selfish. And he should have said, no, I should get pinned. I shouldn't be undefeated in a company going out. Because right now, folks, unless he comes out of retirement, which it's wrestling, it's bound to happen. He could do it at any point. He'd come out of retirement. Do I think he will? I don't fucking know. But he could. He'd come out of retirement at any time and just jump back in there. But Steve Borden, as Sting, the last time he lost was in WWE in a match with Seth Rollins, where Sting was injured. So much so that his contract expired with WWE, and people thought he was done wrestling. And that was it. And he wasn't done wrestling. So he lost in the WWE, pretty much stopped wrestling, came back for AEW, never lost, ever lost, and then went out on top. And I understand that some wrestlers just fade away. They just never really have a last match. They just stop working. And that's a shame because you want people to have their flowers and you want people to be celebrated. And I respect that. Sting was already going to be celebrated. I understand the perspective that the Young Bucks do not need the thing. Like, when you go out and you have your last match and someone retires you, that should be a big deal. That should feel massive. That should feel like a culmination. That should make a person. It doesn't always make a person. Roman Reigns being the last person to wrestle The Undertaker. Asterisk, Undertaker's had a match since. But to retire The Undertaker from WrestleMania and all intents and purposes from active wrestling, that doesn't make Roman Reigns. He was already made. Baron Corbin retired. One of the best to do it. A man who probably should have retired years and years ago. But Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle lost a match to Baron Corbin. And people were very upset about that. And also, WWE didn't capitalize on that. It didn't make Baron Corbin. So I understand there's an argument. But if a retirement doesn't make someone, then you can just still do it because it's the right thing to do. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And you're like, well, Pat, people would boo and be sad if Sting lost. Well, all he has to do is raise their hands at the end of it. Hug Darby Allin. Make the same speech he was going to make. It's already a celebration in Sting. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't like it. And I liked the show. And I liked how they were treating Sting. And I think Sting took too many risks and did too much bullshit. And I wish that he hadn't. And it would have been cool if he didn't. I missed a piece here, so I need to pop this apart because I did, unfortunately, miss a piece as I was talking. And that happens with me sometimes. So let's see if I can pull these apart here without breaking anything on the hand here, or the arm, I should say. I'm going to try to separate these with this spudger here. Maybe I can separate it here. I got to get a good entry point for this. Basically, this piece here needs to be somewhere. And I didn't do it. And now I got to figure out how to do it. I think it goes like here. I don't actually know where it goes. But I got to separate this and try to get it done. But I thought overall the show was great. I am bummed that that Sting won. I don't think Sting should have won. I love Sting. I was a WCW teen. I've been saying WCW kid. I was really a teen. I was a WWF kid and a WCW teen. But always a big fan of Sting. Always appreciated. Always felt weird about his TNA run, and was always always like I always respected the fact that he didn't want to go to WWE at the time, that that he wrote out his Time Warner contract and stayed a guy that didn't do it and didn't go there. And then when he did, he was, in my opinion, mistreated. I think it's fine because I don't need a Bucks title run. Well, I also don't want I didn't want Sting to be a champion either. I don't need old guys with a belt. I just don't need it. I do not need established champion people who do not need a title to have that title. I think it was a mistake. Ricky Starks is going to leave AEW at some point and make a lot of money, and WWE is going to kick themselves, or AEW is going to kick themselves for losing Ricky Starks, because Ricky Starks keeps losing to incredible people that don't need to beat him. They got to fucking stop with that. They got themselves a generational talent, and they are wasting him by having him fucking lose to Sting. Bucks don't lose anything. That nothing happens to them that I'm there. But yeah, the title shouldn't have been on there. But also, I think the Bucks in this incarnation with the belts, where they're like, yeah, we have these belts now. Like, I think that would be fun, and it would make, it would help whatever team beats them. It would be great. Now we got a fucking tournament for the belts. I hate that shit. I don't know how I'm going to separate this. This thing is really wedged together here. These pieces are real tight together. But yeah, I didn't like the Sting one. I didn't enjoy that part. Rest of the show I thought was great. Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita went, I think, too fucking hard. I love former aces of two Japanese companies competing in an American company and going harder than they would be able to, even in a cross thing, even if DDT and New Japan had an event like that, they would never go that hard in that match. So thank you, WWE, for that. Obviously, my heart was with Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. Holy shit. I love that fucking match. That match whipped ass. I love that AEW is a company that I have many faults with AEW. I got my opinions. God, this is taking so fucking long. I'm sorry about this, everybody. I gotta separate this, though. I really fucked this up. I gotta separate this without breaking it. I mean, I can always liquid cement it if I do break it, but I'm trying my best not to break anything and get this separator. Okay. I made some progress. Great. All I gotta do is complain, and it'll fix itself. That's probably not true. I did make some progress, everybody. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But I thought Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson for the Continental crown was fantastic. It was a All Japan style match. It is a style of match that Eddie Kingston wants to be fucking doing, and I'm thrilled that he gets to do it. I'm glad he won. I mean, I would have gotten over it if Bryan had won, but I think Eddie's got way more left in the tank as far as that championship. And I also think that the pre-show teased the guy he's going to lose to. I think he's got one more defense against a Japanese legend in him. He's got one more win for Eddie, is my opinion. Did I put this on wrong? I did. All that work, and then I'm just shoving this piece of plastic in here incorrectly. I think Eddie, has one more match for Eddie left in him, and then I think he's going to drop. And my prediction of who Eddie Kingston is going to lose to is the one, the only, the bastard, Pac. I think the bastard Pac is coming in as a heel. Pac and Eddie have history in AEW. Penta is, considers both men family, so you get that whole thing. I think Pac coming in, being hot, saying I wasn't able to compete in this, I would have beat everyone's ass and won this belt. Eddie, you've gone soft now that you have a title. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? He was like, you never called me, Eddie. You never called me, and like, just whatever shit they want to come up with. Whatever story. We did it. We did it, everybody. We did it. I finally did it. Whatever story they want to tell, I think would be great. I think the match it would whip ass. To me, that's the man to beat Eddie Kingston for those titles because he doesn't need to hold them forever. When will that happen? I don't know. I don't even know when we're actually getting Pac back. I know some people thought that maybe that was going to be who Will Ospreay feuds with, and I was like, that's pretty fucking cool, but I don't know. I think Will is going to be dealing with his teammates for a while longer. But that match ruled. I loved it. Look, I think I knew Roderick Strong was going to win. I'm not interested in that because I don't like the faction that he's in, the Undisputed Kingdom. I keep trying to say United Kingdom. The Undisputed Kingdom, I don't think is interesting as a faction. To prove that they are evil and to be taken seriously, they stopped being silly, which is a bad mistake because they were fun, and now they are no longer fun. They are just boring. Him with a belt helps out with that, I guess. Wardlow winning and getting a future title shot is cool, except I don't really want to watch Wardlow versus Samoa Joe again. I've been there. I've done that. It's fine. I don't need it. It makes sense. I think Wardlow's promos have been improving. I think he's doing better. I just think his faction is bad, and we're just killing time right now until MJF comes back. And MJF won't come back until he's healed all the way up, and Adam Cole is healed all the way up. Although, I will say, I am the one thing about the Undisputed Kingdom that I am incredibly interested in knowing more about is what the fuck's up with Kyle. Kyle O'Reilly returned tonight. I will say, flat out, did not recognize him when he returned, everybody. Kyle O'Reilly showed up, and I was like, who the fuck is that? Did someone run in the ring? Oh, that's Kyle O'Reilly. Now, I do know that Kyle O'Reilly had some surgeries, and some shit went bad with his surgeries. Partially due to his diabetes, that he had some freak issues with his health, and it was very serious. And I hope he has a very speedy recovery. But when he showed up, I was like, what are we doing here? And I wonder if the play is Adam was injured, and you went out of your way to help Adam, and you came up with all these plans, and you did all this stuff, and nobody thought of your old boy Kyle. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the story. I don't know what the story is there. But Kyle O'Reilly looked real fucking weird, and I was definitely like, what's going on with Kyle? But I am hoping he's healthy, and hopefully he can return to action soon. There was certainly talk that he might be done wrestling. So here's hoping that's not the case. Willow pinning Sky Blue in the pre-show means that I think that Willow Nightingale is going to get the next title shot against Julia Hart. Do I think that Willow is going to win the TBS championship? No. Do I think it would be fucking cool if Willow won the TBS championship? Yes. Do I want Willow to turn heel and side with Stokely? No. Do I want Chris Statlander to turn heel with Stokely and then feud with Willow? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I want Statlander to be mad that Willow gets a title shot and to cost her the match. That's why Julia's still champion. We get somebody else coming in to take it from her. And then Willow and Sky Blue have a story, or Willow and Statlander have a story that doesn't involve a belt, and we just get a women's storyline. I should say, we do have, and this sucks that I'm fucking even showcasing it and have to talk about it. There is a storyline in AEW that involves women that has nothing to do with a title. There's only one, but there is one. On AEW television, I'm not counting Ring of Honor. Someone argued, well, Serena Deeb being undefeated and wanting better challengers is a storyline. And I was like, is it? If you count Serena Deeb wanting to wrestle better people, which is a weird thing to say, but is what's going on, then that is a storyline. So you could argue there are two storylines happening in AEW that don't involve a title. And I guess I would believe that. Serena Deeb, and then also Angelo Parker trying to date Ruby Soho, and then running into issues with Saraya, and then Saraya's brother. That has nothing to do with title. That's just a storyline that's happening. That is a fine enough storyline. It's not my personal favorite. I love Ruby Soho. I like her being a babyface. I like her to be able to do more, but I am in favor of these situations where folks can get opportunities that are outside the just, well, you know, it's your turn to lose to the champ. We're going to build you up so you lose to the champ. Make the champ look strong. I like other opportunities for storytelling, so I'm glad we have that. The other women's match, the only one on the main card, was Deonna Purrazzo unsuccessfully taking on Timeless Toni Storm, which included Mariah May dressed as Toni Storm when she entered AEW, the 80s throwback Toni Storm, which was very good. Bobby Dice Roller just subscribed to Tier 1 for 38 months total. Thank you so much, Bobby. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site Tier 2 blue emote in chat. Thank Bobby very much for their continued support. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that. 38 months is so many goddamn months. It's real good. So, Deonna versus Timeless Toni Storm. Not the match of the night by any means. A good match. A solid match. A match that was very personal. They went the personal route because Timeless Toni Storm as a heel is still incredibly entertaining. And Deonna Purrazzo is a heel that they are treating like a babyface. But, like, she's the virtuosa. Like, she's got a heel gimmick. And she's great at it. She's great at it. She's such a, like, Northern Jersey girl. She's so good at being that character and doing that. It's worked for her. Deonna Purrazzo is not the best woman wrestler in AEW, and she doesn't have to be. I saw some people being like, well, Deonna just hasn't shown me that she's a star. And I was like, she isn't. She's good. She doesn't have to prove that to you because she isn't. Now, her being a number one contender, her being a title match, like, that's storyline wise. This is the fact that these girls did get matching tattoos at one point. Going down the personal route is really interesting. And it's way more storytelling than you get in that division. There have been personal issues that have come up, certainly, and betrayals and friendships falling apart and all of that. That's happened, certainly. But this was like a lot. This was like, oh no, I want to wrestle my friend. And Jamie and Tony had that as well. Jimmy Hayter had that as well, certainly. But this felt great, and it was nice to see, even if the match itself was just fine. Second shortest match on the show, all right? Or was it actually the shortest? Let me see. How was it? Oh, no, it was the shortest match on the card. It was shorter than the 12-man tag. It was shorter than the tag in the pre-show. It was shorter than every match. Yeah, it was only a little bit shorter than the 12-man tag at the beginning of the pre-show. And only slightly shorter than Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. So with the time they had, I thought the story was good. I thought they told the story well. I would have loved to have more time. My big question is, like, what the fuck happens next? Is it Serena Deeb? Does Serena Deeb jump to Dynamite? Is it Mercedes? Does Mercedes immediately go after a title? Immediately come into the company and want a title? It's reasonable. It's understandable. I don't know if it should happen. And my main thing is that, like, I love Sasha Banks. I think Mercedes Moné is a fantastic wrestler, an excellent worker. She's got fucking presence, and she knows what's going on. But I don't think her character can stand in the same ring as a woman that had character-wise, kayfabe, had a mental collapse and has decided that she is a starlet who is funny and awesome and has a supporting cast. I don't know how you put I'm Mercedes Moné up against Timeless Toni Storm and not have the crowd go, I don't know about this one. Like, I don't know. I feel like you don't do it until Mariah May turns heel on Toni, and then Toni is a babyface as the character, and I don't know. But I also don't know what you do with Mercedes right now. Like, I just don't know what you do with her. Because I don't think you send her out Julia Hart. I mean, maybe you do. I don't think you do that. So is Mercedes just around without going for a belt for a while? Does she have like a feud with Saraya? Does she have a feud with Britt Baker? Does Britt Baker come back and go, fuck off? I don't know. I don't know what you do there. But it could be interesting. It could be. We finished an arm. That's great. Overall, pay-per-view is great. If you haven't watched it, I would say find yourself the pay-per-view outlet there, or if you're in another country and you're on Fight and you use Fight or Triller, you should get in on that shit because it's great and you'll have a good time. I highly recommend that pay-per-view. It was really fucking fun to watch, even if I didn't like some of the outcomes. And then finally, the one match I mean, there were a couple matches I didn't talk about. One match that I didn't talk about, Samoa Joe retaining. Very much a fan of that. A big fan of Samoa Joe retaining because I didn't want him to just lose so soon. Hangman taking the pin, I think makes total sense. The fact that Adam Page decided that he would rather lose to Samoa Joe than leave the possibility open that Swerve Strickland would win. And that is some hater shit that I can really get behind. That's some A-grade, top tier, I hate you so much, I don't want you to be successful. That was really great. Storytelling was great. Joe just being like, you can't overlook me, you idiots. And Joe still being a tweener. Joe is just Joe. Clearly a heel, but just beloved. Swerve still looks good coming out of it. He should still be able to, figure these things out. I think Swerve Strickland is the next champion. I just didn't see it there. I don't know if it's going to be at Dynasty in 6 weeks. Because I don't know if they're going to do Wardlow versus Joe at Dynasty, or if they're going to do it on TV. But because it didn't say like number one contender. It said a future title match. Like he just gets a future championship match. And when that is, I don't know. When they decide to do that, I mean, it would make sense to do it on the next pay-per-view, but I don't know. Yeah, that match was great. And then I'm kind of done. I'm done. Christian doesn't need that belt anymore. If it wasn't going to be Daniel Garcia, it's got to be the next one. Christian Cage can't keep getting away with this. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to see him lose and get his comeuppance. It's, oh, we're fucking still doing this. Like, if it wasn't going to be Danny, which, like, Danny Garcia having a good 2024, no question about it. No buts about it. Will be a title holder in the future, and maybe even this year. But, like, we got at some point, we got to take that belt off Christian. It's just too long. And yes, he did lose and then lose it back. So technically, Christian did lose the belt and win it back. He hasn't been this title the whole time, but you know what I mean. It was within minutes. Adam Copeland is now has the shortest reign of any title holder in AEW, and it will be almost impossible for anyone to have held the title less than he has, which is kind of fun. And if that's Adam Copeland's only title, that'd be kind of funny. Hey, we're going to take a pause for the calls, folks. I'm going to talk about ways you, the viewer, can support the channel. Everything I'm about to talk about here is optional. You are under no obligation to do any of these things that I'm about to tell you about. But if you would like to, I would love it. It would be great. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber to the old Build With Baer Workshop, throw the Bear Cave, the leg of the site, the Tier 2 Blue emote in chat. Let the people know that you are a subscriber. And you're doing cash money or Prime Game Token. You'd be like Bobby and use some cash money. Prime Game Token. You have Amazon Prime link with your Twitch. You can use that token for anybody. Use it for me. And yeah, being a subscriber, very easy to help me out there if you want to do that. You could gift a sub. It's March, and we have had no gift subs. So if you want to be the first person to gift a sub to someone in the community, you could do that. Again, we're currently at 25 subscribers. We're trying to get to 50. I shut up about it at 50, so I'm not going to shut up about it. And also, if you wanted to cheer, that's another way to help me out through Twitch, if you wanted to. And again, you don't have to, but if you wanted to, it'd be cool. There are other ways to support me, and I'm going to tell you about those now. One of the easiest ways is to go to my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. I'm not running a shady gray market business, so me having a Patreon is cool, and I should not be having a civil lawsuit about it. So you can support me on Patreon at one of those tiers. Dirty, thanks for throwing some emotes in there. Appreciate that. Also, Patreon, different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining it if you'd like to. I have a YouTube channel, of course. Who doesn't? Over my YouTube, you can find videos that I put up, one of which I will be sharing the link to in a little bit here that I'm really proud of. I'll have a new video going up tomorrow, how to set up CPU versus CPU matches in WWE 2K24, because the game's coming out tomorrow, and I am going to record that video as soon as I can and put it up. But yeah, over on my YouTube, you also subscribe for free, become a member for just $2 a month, and if you do that, you will get my my Wednesday videos a day early. That's the best thanks I can give. For $2 a month, you just get a video one day early. So tomorrow you'll get my Wednesday video, and it's going to be good. So you should take a look, see if that's something that you want to jump in on. Those are all monthly ways to support me. You can also go over to my Ko-Fi or my PayPal. I do have a little fundraiser thing going on, goals on my Ko-Fi. But traditionally, my Ko-Fi is for a tip jar for the stream. But right now I am running a bit of a fun thing there, trying to pay off some stuff. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund, and from that fund I buy model kits. The Hyaku-Shiki that I'm building right now. Well, I'm building this Hyaku-Shiki because of your generosity. Past you is helping present me, and so if you want to help future me, you could do one of the things I mentioned there. Also, I have a queue of cool stuff that I like to build, but I do have an Amazon wish list, and if you want to jump the queue and decide what I build next, you go to Amazon, buy something there, come to the mail to me, and I will make a dedicated YouTube video about it. And then I'll also, of course, build it before I build other stuff. I've got Lego sets. I've got inexpensive kits, expensive model kits, stuff that's on sale. I have a couple pre-orders in there for cool looking stuff that I would be happy to build. A bunch of different things that, yeah, like I said, I would be happy to put together if you wanted to. There's some high grade stuff and master grades and stuff with free shipping, stuff without free shipping. There's some gear at the bottom because it's always nice to have a gear option. Yeah, and again, see if there's something there that you'd love to see me put together, and you can pick that up, and I will be happy to build it on stream. And again, some of that stuff will just jump the queue. I have a throne wish list. That is my alternative to Amazon. It's nice to have an alternative. I recently updated stuff in that throne to keep it up to date. So take a look at that. See if there's something there you'd love to see me put together on stream, and I'd be happy to do it. And the most convoluted way to support me is to go to USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. They send you a gift card code. You get that gift card code. You then send me a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, or a whisper on Twitch, because you could still do that. What was it? Oh, the Proto Man. Sorry, I just saw a notice on. I went to check my DMs because I don't do that enough. And I got a cool shirt, my Proto Man shirt, which is cool. So that was nice. This is a very old shirt. I've had this shirt for a very long time, and it's held up and very comfortable. Proto Men, they're fun. They're very fun live. Back to this conversation. The most convoluted way to support me is through USA Gundam Store. If you want to support me and not spend any money, I have a Discord, and if you're not in my Discord, you should get in my Discord, because my Discord is cool, and you'll like it there. It's chill. You'll have fun at the old Discord. Couple video links for you to check out. Pat Bear's Anime Club. Hey, even though I do this new episodes every other Monday, I put up a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club today, even though I did one last Monday. Because the Crunchyroll Anime Awards happened, and I have thoughts on it. Now, we're going to do a rundown. Because of wrestling, I didn't do it And Saturday, things got away from me. One of these streams soon where I don't have a lot to talk about. So maybe Thursday, who knows? I am going to go through my thoughts and we'll go over all of it. But I did want to just say that I start with anime of the year and then we end with me talking about the dub nominations for countries outside of English-speaking languages as their primary language because that stuff fucking rules, and I love talking about that. I love finding out that Konosuba is being dubbed in a bunch of languages recently and people are getting nominated for that. And I was like, oh, that's fun. So check out that video. I just put it up today. It is, I mean, I'm annoyed with some of the categories, but I get less annoyed as we go on. And then Kuma Baer. Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. I would love for you to check out this episode of Kuma Baer, where in under a minute, I try to convince you, the viewer, to check out My Love Story, which is one of my favorite romantic comedy anime of all time. It is a fucking classic. It is great. It is a show where both main characters are fun and interesting, and the supporting cast is great. And there's some action and lovely romance and just wonderful characters interacting with one another. And everybody's just trying their best to find love and acceptance. It's a great series. Available subbed on Crunchyroll and dubbed on Hulu in the US. So take a look at that. And then available in other countries in other ways, I assume. But I focus on the United States in my videos. What else should I say? All right, those are all the links. I'm going to talk about some anime. I didn't talk about the anime I'm watching on Saturday, so I have 4 anime to talk about, so it's not Manga Monday today. So we'll do some anime. But before I do that, I have to drink some water. I need it. And we're going to dramatically transition to the overhead camera while I drink some water right now. And then excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. Dirty says, quick question. If someone is holding onto challenge right... quick question. If someone is holding onto a challenge right, can they immediately challenge a belt title match winner and take the belt title in a consecutive match? So, it depends on the wording. Number 1 contenders cannot declare, I'm cashing this in right now. So number 1 contenders traditionally can't do it. They can open a challenge. Hey, I'm next in line and I want to face you right now. But the champion could just beg off. The clipboard thing that happens with the TNT title that Killswitch won, that was immediate cash-in. The Money in the Bank briefcase is an immediate cash-in. So in general, no. In specific instances, yes. But being the number 1 contender or having, like, Wardlow, the wording for that match that Wardlow won was a future title opportunity or title match. It wasn't a guaranteed title match whenever he wants. It wasn't the Money in the Bank. So there has to be negotiations, has to be approved by Tony Khan. Now, Wardlow could show up on Wednesday and go, hey, Joe, fight me now. And Joe could say, yeah, you know what? Let's make this official. Go get a referee. They could do that, and that certainly happened before. But it's not always a cash-in. And yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Dirty. But that's why the Money in the Bank briefcase is fun, because it is a automatic guaranteed cash in at any place, anytime, as long as there's a ring and a referee. That's what you need. You need a ring, a referee, and you can do that. And your opponent does not have to agree that they want to have that match, but mostly it is matches. And now with that wrestling question answered as best as I can and that, again, I'm talking about American companies. Your mileage may vary at other companies in other countries. Anime. We're going to talk about the shows I normally talk about on Saturday, Frieren and the Unwanted Undead Adventurer, and then we'll talk about the Monday shows I normally talk about, the Strongest Tanks, Labyrinth Raids, and Fluffy Paradise. If you're watching any of these shows, feel free to let me know your thoughts as I go through them. If you're not watching any of these shows, you should be watching Frieren. Go back. That should be the show of your season that you're checking out, because Frieren whips ass. And Fluffy Paradise is fun. Unwanted Undead Adventurer, it's a hard sell, but I think it's really good, and I think they're doing a wonderful treatment of the source material. And then Fluffy Strongest Tank Labyrinth is just like, if that was on a busier day, I would not be watching it. But I don't really have much to watch on Sunday and Monday, so I'm watching it. I like it. I think it's good, but I understand why I don't know people that are watching it. Other folks that are. They're watching it and enjoying it. I totally understand why I'm the only person I know in my crew that's watching that show. All right, let's get into Frieren. All right, so they're on this trial. They're in this dungeon that no one's ever beaten. They find out they got these things that they're having to fight, that they're replicas, and they act just like other mages. And this is the beginning of this episode, is information being shared and gathered. The people that gave up, the people that quit, the people that are like, I can't do this, but pass on this information. The information gets passed on, saying that, like, Edel has left. Mind control is not an option, so don't try to use mind control. It's not going to work on these creatures. They don't have minds. So mind control isn't going to work. And they're called a Spiegel, and the replicas do not have any known easily identifiable weakness. And they're like, okay, well, the Spiegel is not here. These are replicas. We need to fight through like the hardest one possible, probably possible. Frieren's replica has to be defeated if we're going to move on. We have to take care of business if we're going to do this. Sorry, I gotta remember where this goes. This goes like this. Sorry, this is just being annoying. I gotta get this piece to fit in here. Great. All right, I got this. I got one of these shoulder pieces in here. Good. And now I can continue to assemble this shoulder piece. Frieren and Fern are like, we have a plan. Because Fern is like, all right, here's the fatal, like, I've observed it. I understand Frieren has a flaw, and I guess I'll tell people what the flaw is. Frieren, oh yeah, yes, that is a bit of a one-on-one. Yes, Dirty, that is a little bit of that. Frieren is, cannot detect mana when she is casting a spell, which is a very beginner mage problem that other mages have kind of gotten past, but she just never has, mainly because she's just strong enough that it hasn't really mattered. And she also is usually not fighting on her own. She has a party. She has people to watch her back, to cover up for issues. So Frieren and Fern are going to go together. Everyone else is just trying to protect themselves and protect the two of them from other replicas that are going to show up. Frieren is fighting equally with her replica. Fern is looking for a chance to hit the replica with Zoltrak. And you may remember Zoltrak is the piercing magic that was the magic that, like, they couldn't defeat this one demon years and years ago in the Demon Wars. They sealed it because this magic was unbeatable. But then in the years, humans figured out how to use that spell and how to counter that spell and block that spell. So So this is a fun callback for the diehards like me, and it was just like, oh shit, that's the spell they're gonna use. Hell yeah, that's the spell they're gonna use. That's awesome. And we get a flashback with Frieren, and this was Siri, our current head of the mages, was basically like Frieren handed over Will of Flame, who was Siri's, who was like the greatest, mage and the person that trained Frieren. And that is apparently, this is the thing that like this was permission for it came about. So Frieren's master made it possible for humans to learn magic, to be helped by elves to learn magic because of their potential. Human mages will be able to surpass even elves. And in the present, again, we're the back and forth, all this, it's longer than I'm giving it, but basically, Fern is, who is human, remind you, is about to strike the replica directly with Zoltrax. So this is like this human who identified the weakness of the greatest mage that's ever lived, the one that helped defeat the Demon Lord, the Demon King, and bring about decades of peace and prosperity. Basically, her human disciple is like, yeah, I could take her out, which I think is great. So we're gonna see that. This episode whipped ass. I love the like, yeah, this thing from like 10 episodes ago. Yeah, we're gonna use that here. It's like, hell yeah, you are. Hell yeah, you are. All right. The Unwanted Undead Adventurer. So we have another episode that is like a one-off quest. We're still laying low. Rent is still trying to figure out how to advance his life and further and evolve, and also keep people who might decide immediately that this dude needs to die, trying to avoid that. Trying to avoid his own death because he is a monster, an actual monster, not like a monster of a man. Let's see. He gets asked to work on to find a dragon blood rose, even though the quest only pays 1 bronze coin. So the dragon blood thing is linked to the love between a dragon and a human, that symbolizes eternal love. But Rhett is like, oh, okay. The reason why someone would want this is because it's used in a powerful medicine, and an orphanage put up the request. So this is just like a lot of money for an orphanage. Let's see. Rhett learns at the orphanage that the headmistress has a rare disease that makes her sick when she uses magic, and one day she will die. It is like a magic deficiency, which we won't think too hard about, but clearly is somewhat meant to be somewhat similar to an analog to a real life disease. So before he goes out, he hears that like, hey, they have a rat problem. He's like, yeah, all right, well, this is my penance here. I'll help you out. So he goes and kills all the rats, except he ends up getting bitten by the head boss rat, but his blood immediately tames the rat and turns into a familiar, which is normally a thing that vampires do. Is he a vampire? Is our guy a vampire now? We don't know. Anyway, the rat gets named Edel, and now we have a rat friend. This show finally has an animal, and it's a cute, fun rat. And that's fun. Also, we found out that if Lorraine puts blood into food, then Rent can eat it, which is great because maybe then he can eat human meals or regular meals around people and throw them off his scent a little bit about being a monster posing as a human. They travel. Rent travels to the swamp area that to get the dragon blood rose, and luckily for him, being undead means that the poisonous air does nothing to him, which is awesome. Stella and Lorraine are talking. This is in a separate scene as he's doing all this, and in fact, and later fighting a big dragon tortoise. We have a scene with Sheila from the guild and Lorraine talking, and they're like, oh, wait. Hey, neither of us actually knows why our guy is so dedicated to becoming a high-ranking mithril class adventurer. We don't know. Nathan just resubbed with Prime. Thank you so much, Nathan. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in chat. Thank Nathan for the Prime sub. 20 months is a lot of months. Thank you, friend. Appreciate that very, very much. And now we are at 26 subscribers. The goal is 50. We're currently at 26. We're on our way. So thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that. So yeah, they're like, we don't know. Actually, we don't know why. So they kind of realize together that they both don't know a whole deal about the guy they both really like. And then during the fight with that dragon, the tortoise dragon, we find out that Edel can use the same magics that the same kind of magic that Rent can use. So his familiar is like an extension of him, which is neat and cool. And then after defeating the dragon and harvesting stuff to make some money, Rent finds the dragon bloods that he's looking for, but he also runs into a male elf. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know, but yeah, he runs into an elf, which is interesting. And we'll find out more about this elf in the next episode of it. Unwanted Undead Adventurer is a show that I really enjoy. I'm having a ball with it. It is slow paced. There's plenty of character monologues as characters suffer through quite a bit. But I do think that it is worth your time. I think you should see if it's a show that speaks to you. And again, I am only going to do the front stickers on here because I did ruin a couple of these stickers. So I'm only going to try to do the front ones here. Also, we don't really need stickers on this other than the little symbol stickers. We'll still put one on here. Come on. Come on. These are so fucking tiny, and then no one's ever going to see them, so I'm not, like, too worried about it. I mean, I'll see them, but... Alright, shoulder is done. We can move on to the arm. I still have 2 more anime to talk to you about, but we are now done with stickers until we build the weapon. This is the last sticker that I have to apply, and it's for the gun. So, we're good on stickers for a bit here, and these do look really rad. If you are working with these stickers that are not water slides, but are have the clear backing and are different from traditional regular foil stickers, I would recommend using something to kind of hold the stickers together. A clear coat. I would recommend a clear coat if you are long-term going to be displaying, because these could peel over time. I won't be using clear coat because I don't own a clear coat because I don't particularly care about that. But if you are doing it and working on a kit that has these kinds of clear stickers or water slide or dry transfers, I would recommend a clear coat if you're looking to display for long-term benefits. Unrelated to the anime, which I'll continue talking about in a moment, I am considering rearranging my display over here. You can see that better. We'll do the no border. You can see that better here. Right now I have I have the Devil Gundam, and you kind of can't see it. The real thing is, because of the way my lighting is in this room, you barely can see the dragon, and I think the dragon rules. I've also considered maybe pulling this display forward more, because there is some space. So maybe if I pulled it forward, it'd be more defined. But I think the Death Scythe and the Epion are staying, but our Blue Eyes White Dragon is kind of getting lost in the lighting. So I might swap some things around, but I'm also might test if I can, because this is just on my bed. It's kind of in the middle of the bed, even though it doesn't look like that. It is the middle of the bed where that is balanced, and I can have boxes with model kits on it without being a problem. But I could run into an issue with that in the future if I'm trying to pull it too forward, because nothing's on the bed right now. But you know, I don't. What I don't want is a bunch of them just falling over all the time. You know what I mean? I don't have them tacked or stuck to there. They're just resting on there. And then I hold the boxes from... The boxes are taped together. And I hold the box from the side and then put them down after every stream. All right, let's continue here. We now have to build the other arm. And I need to tell you, friends, about the Strongest Tanks Labyrinth raids. So we are dealing... We have our guy who got kicked out of the big party in the land. His team are trying to fight the guardian of this labyrinth. No one else has ever been able to defeat this labyrinth. He's already gotten farther than anyone else has. And Marius, who is a guardian, reveals that, hey, this guardian's actually a demon lord. This is a 300-year-old demon lord named Amon Sloth, and there are lots of demon lords apparently. Someday Marius could have evolved into being a demon lord, but basically, yeah, this is fucking a big deal. Amon mocks Marius for giving up his chance to become a demon lord, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to kill everybody here. I think that's just the plan. So everyone's in a fight for their life. Of course, they always will. But now, it's more of a fight for their life. This is a good fight where Amon, at one point, they do enough damage to this demon lord that Amon transforms into a giant wolf, which is fucking cool. Rudd's shield starts to fail. He's taken so much damage. And he's absorbed so much damage from his other party members that his own shield starts to fail, and he's kind of running out of ability. But then Lily shows up, one of his compatriots, and she uses barrier magic to create a barrier for our guy, for Rudd. Amon gets weakened and turns into her own original body, and then it's just like, all right, you got me. Here's the wish-granting crystal, which he also won for Marius. I'm sorry about this. You got me. You whooped my ass. I underestimated you all. So hooray! The day is saved. Rudd learns that there are a bunch of demon kings, and their goal is to destroy the world, and it's a race to who can, through the power of labyrinths, destroy the world, which is obviously not good. That's bad. You heard it here first, folks. Their plans to destroy the world, not good. But she's been bored with it, and she's just like, what if instead of this race that I don't really care about, like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to join you and Marius, and I'm going to help you out. You got it. I'm going to help you out, and I will also help you to defeat the other Demon Kings. Rudd decides to keep Amon a secret, and instead offers a map of the 52nd floor, and he's like, I conquered the labyrinth. Here's the map of it. And then both guilds that he was, like, showing up because they were taking him for granted are like, yeah, all right, we will both make alliances with you. This is the whole point of them doing it, was to make alliances, because he was desperate to form some alliances to protect the town. Lily kisses Rudd as a thank you. That's a cute little scene. It's not going to go anywhere, but that was a cute little bit of business. D2, 8, and Is this piece? All right, folks, I'm gonna interrupt myself for a second to say, I'm not gonna make the mistake I made last time with this. I am gonna put the part in the right place when I need to put it there, so that we don't have to then disassemble. I am gonna do this properly right now. I'm not gonna. I'll fudge something else up, but it won't be this particular thing. So this is gonna go here like that, and then this piece, with its two ridges here, goes here. Yeah. And now when I connect it, it'll be good, and I won't have to try to disconnect it like I did earlier. And I spent a lot of time having to do that. Let's see. What else can I say? The second wishing stone helps out his sister. She feels even better than she did before. So obviously, it's not just now they know. Well, we also have to save the world, but the main, beyond that, the reason why they're going and doing all this dungeons and such is to get more wishing crystals to someday fully heal his sister, which will be great and is basically his life work. And then the episode ends with Amon tasting Manasia's cooking, his sister, and Amon is just like, I'm staying on the surface. This food is, what do you call this? Food? Yeah, all right. This stuff's great. Which is a fun bit of business. And is a fun episode. This was a fun one. Again, is this the best show out there this season? No. Is it a good time? Yeah, it's a good time. I would say you should check it out if you want to. I'm not going to make you, but if you want to, check it out. And the final anime that we got to talk about tonight, because again, got a lot of anime to talk about here, is Fluffy Paradise. This was an incredibly plot-driven episode. We've got the kobolds. The kobolds are just dog people. It's great to see all these dog people around. Makes for a fine episode. The leader of the dog people is just like, look, humans have constantly attacked kobolds and decided that we're the problem and all that. And we don't need your help. I also know that we're going to get attacked because apparently her ability, Cecilia's ability, is that she's a star seer, or star reader, but then also like she doesn't believe the things she's seeing because Nema is apparently her savior, and she's like, I don't believe that. Apparently Nema is still working on her plan. She's going to go back to the kobold village and try to convince them to help out. A kobold named Haley tells them more about the kobold's history. This is a good chunk of the episode, is just learning about kobolds and all of that, and we're learning as we go. A pretty fun little chunk of the episode. There are this is a sanctuary, so they're from different tribes, including the Star Wolf tribe. But one girl was abandoned, who is Cicely's sister, her adopted sister, was abandoned by her tribe and lives with this tribe. And there's some rough stuff. Fika, who is the father of the kobold that Nema saved earlier, basically has Fika's children Go and Roku to help out. Yes, there's a dog named Roku. Nema's group has a meeting with the troops that are planning to ambush the kobolds, and Nema's working on her plan, which is like infiltrating the group. And then at the end of the episode, they find some knights that are being healed. There were some issues with the knights. So basically, we don't know all the details of their plan, but part of their plan is to like sabotage the attack, it seems like. So, a bunch of stuff's going on. Again, this was not like the best episode of the show. We did get a lot of kobolds. There's more action in this than I initially thought. I did not realize that there would be so many episodes dedicated to making sure that humans don't kill certain monsters. But I don't know if this is going to be like if there's something beyond this, or if this is like the story that's going to end the season or what, because I have not read the manga of this, but I am still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying my time with it. And that's all the anime that I have been watching. And of course, on Thursday, I'll have more anime. At this point in the stream, I would love to hear from you, friends. What are you watching? What are you playing right now? What are you into? What's got you going? Always like to hear from you about those things. Let me know if you're playing any video games, you're watching any you go to the movies over the weekend, you see anything, you got excited about some games that you're purchasing or TV shows you're watching. You're glued to your seat for F1 right now. Let me know in the comments, or in the chat, I should say, not the comments. Let me know in the comments below. Before I get into what I'm playing right now, I will just say the thing that I will be playing tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out for my first stream in WWE 2K24. What I can promise you is I will download as much fun creator wrestlers, because their reviewers, hopefully some reviewers have been making some stuff that I can download. I will look to see. I will make myself tomorrow. My plan for tomorrow is download the game, make myself so that I am in the game, and then download what I can of some. But we'll also look at the wrestlers that are already in the game anyway, and whatever DLC I get. I'm going to try to do a Cody Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes match, because I have 4 different Cody Rhodes as part of the buying the digital version. So yeah, that's tomorrow night's stream. The game comes out officially for everybody on Friday, but I paid more, so I'm getting it on. I got the DLC as well, all of the DLC and future DLC as well. So I got that. So we'll see how that goes. And then also tomorrow, I'm going to record a how to run CPU versus CPU matches in WWE 2K23 or 24, I should say, because my most viewed video last year was how to do it in 23, and my second most viewed video was how to do it in 22. And my top video of February was the 23 video, because people get it on discount. They get the old game on discount because there's all this DLC and all the bug fixes have come out, and also there's just a huge amount of creator wrestlers that have been designed and all that. So people usually buy the previous game. Also, yes, tutorial videos are a good way to get easy views. They are. And I also don't talk a long time in my videos. I just say, like, hi, here's how to do this. You want to do this. This is for the PC. You want to do this, this, and this. And there you go. And you've done it. I get to the point real fast because I don't want to waste people's time. But yes, it's a good way to get my view numbers up, and they are my most popular videos. But I'm not chasing that. I just do it as a service. And then if I make a couple pennies, here's the thing. If that video does well, that means that I get a little bit of money, and the money goes into me buying model kits. I'm still not at $100 yet, because the money I made in February still hasn't come over. It will at some point. I'm still less than $1 short of $100. But as soon as I get that $100, I will remove that money from my Google, AdSense, and I will then use that $100 to buy several model kits. That's what I promised you. And as far as what I've been playing, it's Hearthstone. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone. There's a new expansion coming out this month, so I'm trying to rank up in standard before the expansion, because I want to play. When the new cards come out, I want to play nonsense. Also, my standard deck, one of the cards that makes that standard deck work, there's a couple cards that I need for my standard big paladin, where I'm just constantly swapping a healing minion with big minions that then also will heal. That's not going to work if looks like we're building 1 foot, and then we're going to build up the leg. So we're moving on to the feet here. That deck's not going to work anymore with the new expansion, so I want to get some time in with that deck before it no longer is viable. And I played Helldivers yesterday, and it was good. Apparently, servers were still fine for me. Apparently, some people were running into issues on console for Helldivers. I didn't run into issues on PC, and I was able to play with friends, and I had a good time with the friend group, thriving in Helldivers. A couple of us in my my multiplayer group are just way too good at Helldivers. I'm like, God damn it! All right, I'm not the best. I do okay. I'm got way better at not hurting my teammates, so that's nice. But we're having fun, and no one takes it too seriously. None of us are excellent, but we're having a good time. I'm just never going to be good at those kinds of games, but I do like playing them, and I also like hanging out with my friends in a digital space. What have you been watching or doing? Whatever. John says Project Unicorn demo was really good, and I look forward to playing that next week. Okay, hell yeah. I'm on a game buying freeze. I will have a few games coming out this month that are. I have at least one code for a new game coming out this month, but I am a bit of a freeze as far as new games. Just can't. I'm not going to be buying even indie titles. I don't think I'm going to be buying any in March. I think I might be on a freeze. I got to figure out how to get this in here. So hold on. I can do this method. Sometimes works out. I'm playing more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, says Lord Crashington. Enjoying that. Unlocking more stuff to do and finding some weird stuff in that game, like the Moogle trees where they hide. Hell yeah. I'm glad you're having fun with that. I have not watched anybody play that game. I have not watched a single stream of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I will at some point. It's just the people that I normally watch on streams haven't been playing it. All right. I can't get this polycap in, so we are doing the other method here. This is the tweezer method. Now, these are jeweler's tweezers, so I am pressing to expand instead of pressing to keep going, but it is a similar method where I am doing this here, and then I am going to slide, and then hopefully this is just going to let me slide this piece in. And I'm double checking here to make sure that I'm doing this right. Yep. Yeah, all right. So this should theoretically just fit right in, and it's not doing it. And there can be a couple reasons why. This is definitely C11, but I'm going to double check to make sure that this is C11. This is C11. Yes. Is this polycap 7? This is polycap 7, so this is right. So I'm going to continue to try to figure out why this isn't working the way I need it to. This is the right piece. This is the right direction. This should slide in. This is going to lock into a leg, which I haven't built yet, obviously. Aside from watching all the wrestling yesterday, says Lashbrook, including Collision and Rampage. Oh, that's right. You had to get caught up. You're still in Wano in One Piece. Nice. I know I said the pacing doesn't bother me, but I'm pretty sure Wano has 100% of the recap episodes in it. So, like, there are chapters in Wano that most anime episodes are 3 chapters of a manga, right? That's often the ratio. There are episodes of Wano that are 1 chapter or part of a chapter. And sometimes that's awesome. I finally got this. Sometimes that's awesome. Like Solo Leveling, the anime that I've talked about before that is kind of veering in great ways. Solo Leveling basically adapted very little of a chapter and made some changes in some characters, and they're all for the better. Solo Leveling is doing a really fine adaptation of the source material, and he is improving on some elements of the source material as it goes, and I'm a big fan of that. I think it is turning out fantastic that it does that. Big fan of the choices made there. But then sometimes in anime, you're just like, oh, this is just a recap, and it's not even that you're doing filler. You're just like telling me what happened like 2 episodes ago. Weird. That is frustrating. Last work. I agree. Lord Crashton says, my re-listen to the Beastcast episodes is in the post-early access PUBG era where Alex says he wants to dive to prone option that made me realize that wouldn't happen until Helldivers 2. Oh, nice. That's fun. That Lord Crashington, like, nobody, they always say they don't remember those things, but that is a fun question for like the email bucket for like Nextlander of like, hey, back on the Beastcast, Alex said that he really wants a dive to prone option, which is now in Helldivers 2. Is there anything that you would like Helldivers 2 to have that can appear in another video game in the future? Like, you could do something that's a fun question. I like that. I hope your re-listen's going well. PUBG, what a phenomenon. Can you believe that when I was still doing Game of the Year lists, I included PUBG on my Game of the Year list? And I barely played it. I owned that game. I played that game, but it was my number one game of the year. It was still in early access because I had watched so many hours of it. It like helped me fall in love again after I'd taken a break with Loading Ready Run because their cover's so good. Giant Bomb stuff. Like, I was watching random people. I don't watch random people play video games. Well, I was watching randos play PUBG. Of course, Will Smith as well. Eventually, like, that game was a phenomenon, and it was kind of wild and cool. But yeah, that was my game of the year, despite me barely actually playing that game. I almost only played it with like a games journalists and friends group that I got invited to. I played with that a bunch, and I made some friends through that. That was a wonderful added surprise bonus when I got invited to doing that stuff. It was a Jeff Grubb joint, I want to say. That's who invited me to that. I'm gonna put these on here. Then we're almost done with the foot here, so we can panel line it. Battlefield 2 had that. It got real ridiculous as the meta became running into someone, immediately diving to the ground, and then shooting. That's fun. It's also the kiss on the cheek era where Jeff is... Oh, kiss on the cheek! Where Jeff is starting to regret asking people to write in for that. I remember that. That's still a game I play every week, says John. Hell yeah. I do remember the kiss on the cheek and how he almost instantly regretted that. That was a mistake. Yes. I think Metal Gear Online had a form of that, kind of like a rolling dive into prone. Oh, God. Ask me anything about Metal Gear Online. I don't remember any of those. All right, we're gonna wrap this stream up. We're done panel lining this. I'm just gonna clean it up, and then we'll be done here. We got a lot done today. It may not look like it because all I did was 2 arms and a foot, so it may not look like I did a lot today. But this kit, even for a high grade, is very detailed. And also, we did all but 1 sticker by applying these stickers here. A lot of work on this, very detailed. Of course, it's got the gold, so it's going to take paint pretty well. So the marker, there's a lot of panel lining on this. It looks great. I'm really liking this kit. You put a lot for the PS2. Nice. You bring TVs at PS2s. I love that. LAN party. I did a lot with Halo. Halo LAN parties. It was very fun. We had up to 3 Xboxes linked together, and we had 4 people on a projection screen, 4 people on a giant plasma television, and then 2 people on a regular decent-sized TV, because you couldn't do 4 on that. But that was the most we had. But that's going to do it for the stream. I'll wax poetic about Halo another day. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining me here tonight. Now, you may, if you're new to the stream or you haven't been here in a while, you might not know this, but the party don't stop just because I'm done streaming for the night. Because we're going to go on what some people describe as a raid. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit. We're going to go spend some time with them because we do want to keep things going. We always run the risk. The party never dies. Yes, because we always end with the raid. Yes. Sorry. Also, my allergies are just whooping my butt, so my nose has been bad, and I've need to phlegm in my throat. So I apologize for that. I have not sounded probably that great in the last half hour, 45 minutes. So I apologize about that. I'll probably take a Claritin tomorrow before the stream. Mary usually streams for a while. We're going to raid Mary Kish. Occasionally I go on a raid and that person is just ending. Or like we did Funny Rave and they were in between acts on Funny Rave and also had no mic working. And that was a very weird experience, I know, for that. So I apologize for the weird experience we had raiding Funny Rave on Saturday, but that shit's cool. But we're going to raid Mary Kish. Mary Kish is playing... Oh, she's playing a card game that I am very frustrated with, and I will get back to Balatro. I will get back to that game, but I'm taking a short break from Balatro because it's driving me crazy. She's saying nonsense while playing Balatro. Yes, so we're going to go hang out. Please come along on this raid. Mary Kish is lovely and deserves your time and energy. Hit the follow button for her if you could. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow night for my first look at WWE 2K24. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.